Hello, welcome back to my channel. Yes, two exciting things to talk about today. Number one is the fact that it is a mid-month time for our mid-month coffee chat, so we can talk some goals, we can talk how we're doing, all of the things so far this March. But also, yes, we are pregnant. So if you saw my YouTube short that I posted yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. Yes, I still have my St. Patrick's decor, my tier tray, all of that is still set up. And I officially announced that we are pregnant. So I am 21 weeks pregnant actually right now. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some of that today, but mainly the goals. But since this is obviously going to very much affect and has been very much affecting my goals, my mindset, all of my things for the last 5 months, you just weren't aware of it. I just thought it was time that I bring that to you so that we are all on the same page as we move forward. So let's get into it. All right, so I've actually just come into my office after getting some different things done around the house. My husband and I are actually gonna take a little trip this evening. And so we are just trying to get all of our things done this morning so that we can go on that trip and not have to worry about much. But I am coming in here, just made my cup of coffee. I have been drinking decaf now for gosh, months and months, even before I got pregnant, just because I realized when I drink coffee, it does nothing for me, like nothing, which is kind of weird. I can drink it, I could literally go to bed, like it does nothing. So I'm like, okay, there's no need for me to have that additional caffeine if it's not doing anything for me. So I switched to decaf, and I usually drink it about mid-morning instead of first thing in the morning because I have my pre-workout first thing in the morning to go do my workouts. So here we are. Hopefully you have something to drink, whether it be coffee or something else. And we are gonna quickly go through goals, mindset, and just kind of what's going on so far in March. And then I'm gonna give you a little bit of where I've been coming from, and just maybe you'll be able to see and piece together some of the things and the changes that I've started to talk about here on my channel and how that has been influenced by pregnancy, but also just truly a shift in mindset because I know my life is about to change very much, and just where I'm headed and where I want to go and why and just all of that. So let's do it. First, let's get a drink. I've also started making my own creamer, and it is so good. I use milk. It's like 2 cups of milk, half a cup of brown sugar, tablespoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and like a dash of salt. It is so good. And the fact that I make it makes me feel really good about the fact that like there's not a bunch of extra things in it. So I just love that. Random side note. But when it comes to goals, so I'm just looking at my vision board that's right behind you on my whiteboard for the month of March. And honestly, for most things, I am just slowly but surely trucking along, and it feels so good. So when we found out actually Thanksgiving morning that we were pregnant. And then we found out on Valentine's Day that we were having a little girl. And so my reasoning for announcing our pregnancy yesterday on St. Patrick's Day was there was 2 reasons. One, 2 other like major moments in this pregnancy have been on holidays. So it just like made sense to announce it on a holiday, another holiday. But also because when you think of St. Patrick's Day, you think of, rainbows and pots of gold and shamrocks and all of the things. And since this is our sweet rainbow baby, it just felt very fitting and very right. So if you aren't aware of what a rainbow baby is, it is a pregnancy after loss. It is a baby that comes after loss. And we actually experienced a miscarriage this past summer. And so I definitely alluded to in some of the videos that I've done some really big struggles emotionally, mentally that I have had over this last year. And I know that it very much impacted me, my goals, how I was working towards things and all of that. Rightfully so. When we go through traumatic experiences, we have to give ourselves grace. And honestly, that is where my embracing grace mission and that little added piece that I have been working on really came from. I leaned more into my faith journey than ever after that experience, which looking back now, I actually journaled about this morning. I am so incredibly thankful that I leaned in to God versus pulling away during that experience, because it could have been very easy for me to pull away, and I did not. And I'm just really, really thankful. And because of that, my faith is stronger than ever. And I will never be able to explain how grateful I am for that. You know, if that's the one silver lining that came out of that really hard experience, then I will take it. I will absolutely take it. So a little bit more about that just moving forward. That has very much affected me and my mindset and just where I want to go and priorities in life. You know, you go through something like that and you're like, wow, there's a lot of things in life that I'm not appreciating, and there's a lot of things in life that I'm prioritizing that don't matter, and there's a lot of things that maybe I need to change up a little bit so that I can truly honor myself. And even though I feel really good about the life that I've been living the last few years, even that just had me kind of dial in and just, you know, take it in even further of how do I want to live? Who do I want to be? And more importantly, with this second pregnancy, what kind of a parent do I want to be, especially to a little girl, right? To a woman, a someday woman. I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but those are kind of the thoughts that I've had as this, once we found out, we've known for a little over a month now that it was a little girl, and I would have swore to you, I would have bet money that it was a boy. I just have always thought and felt I'm gonna be a boy mom. I just have always felt that. I have multiple nieces, I have multiple nephews, but I have way more nieces, and I just always thought, like, I don't know, we're gonna have boys, like that's just what we're gonna have. And so finding out we were having a little girl really kind of shifted me in that moment as well, of like, am I showing up as the kind of woman and the kind of mom that I would want her to have? And I think that I could answer that for the most part with a solid yes. But there were some things that I'm like, you know, maybe we need to just kind of refine some of these things. And so, you know, really prioritizing my Bible time in the morning, that's something that, you know, for a while was like hit or miss. And it's like, oh, if I don't get it, not a big deal, whatever. Making sure I'm attending church. And just how I'm going about my days, the energy that I'm bringing into my day-to-day life, and just a lot of that. Like, it's really, really just shifted my personal perspective, but also my drive and how I want to show up in the world and how I want to be and the woman that I want to be, so that I can be that kind of a parent and mom someday to hopefully this child, and hopefully all goes well the rest of this pregnancy. You know, nothing is guaranteed, of course, and so I'm continuing to pray every single day. So with that being said, I feel really, really proud of myself, honestly, that I continued to even set goals in the first place, that I have continued to move my body consistently, that I have continued to fuel my body consistently, that I've drank plenty of water, that I have continued to show up for things in life that are important and that matter, pregnant or not, right? You know, I think we live in a culture that justifies women once they're pregnant laying around and eating all the junk food and doing all these things. And thankfully, I had so many women. I work in the area of health and wellness. Like, that has been my job for the last 6.5 years, my full-time job for the last 3.5 years. And so I have gotten to witness multiple women who have gone through multiple pregnancies during my time in this career, who have gone through pregnancy and have really shared the message of pregnant, not powerless. And I am just, that was a mindset that I knew if God ever blessed me with pregnancy, that's the mindset that I would take into it. And so I took that into the 9 weeks of the pregnancy that we had over the summer. I've taken that into the full 21 weeks so far of this pregnancy, and I am so incredibly thankful for that. You know, I was actually 10 weeks along when I decided to start the 75 hard challenge. This is my 3rd time doing it, and I am five days away from finishing it. And a big reason that I chose to do the 75 hard challenge, knowing that I was pregnant, was because I did not want to fall into the justifications of, oh, you're pregnant, you can rest today. Oh, you're pregnant, you don't have to do this. Oh, you're pregnant, you can eat everything in the fridge or all the desserts or whatever. Like, I really wanted to continue to take care of my body the exact same way that I was taking care of it prior to being pregnant, because that made me feel really good. And in my mind, I just thought, well, if that made me feel good not pregnant, surely that'll make me feel good pregnant, and fueling my body well is only going to help my baby. And movement, I've heard from countless women, consistently moving and doing strength training during pregnancy helps with labor, helps with delivery, helps with a easier, if you will, postpartum. Obviously, I don't know that from experience, but I think the most empowering women that I heard from were the ones who had had a pregnancy or 2 pregnancies where they weren't taking care of themselves, they weren't moving consistently, they weren't fueling their bodies, and then pregnancies that followed afterwards where they did do those things, and how they explained how vastly different those experiences were for them. And I mean, I was sold. At that point, I was literally sold. And I've even at this point been told by my midwives, you know, one of the biggest questions, like the most common question I've been asked since we've started telling people, which as of today, we started telling family and some close friends 2 weeks ago, starting like 2 weeks ago today was when we started. And we've been slowly but surely telling, you know, more and more family members. We have very large families. And then we announced it officially yesterday on social media. And the most common question that I have been asked is, how are you feeling? And I feel so blessed to be able to say, I feel incredible. Like, I feel incredible. And my midwife, multiple women that I know who have been pregnant before, all that, are like, a big part of that is because you've continued to move your body. You've continued to eat well. You've continued to do things that makes anybody feel good, you know, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And so I just feel really, really proud of that. So when I look at my goals for the month of March, when I look at that I'm doing the 75 hard challenge, when I look at the strength training program that I'm currently doing, there's no cardio in it. It's just strength training. And I modify when I need to on ab moves. I don't lift maybe as heavy in some certain situations. Like, I'm very, very much listening to my body. I've continued to track my nutrition every single day. Do I always eat perfectly? No, but I do the best that I can. We have so the nutrition program that I typically follow and have followed for years now is To Be Mindset. Through our company, we also have a To Be Pregnant. So it's the pregnant guidance version of my nutrition plan. And I love it. And I have followed that and it has been wonderful. So I track my nutrition every single day. I've been reading personal development every single day. Obviously, as a part of the 75 hard challenge, you read 10 pages of personal development every day. And what better way to continue to have a positive mindset during pregnancy and during some of the tougher times when you don't feel like doing the things. That has been phenomenal. And I'm so glad that I chose to do that challenge for that reason. I drink a gallon of water every single day, and I have heard and read so many times that during pregnancy, get water in, get water in, get water in, get water in. And what a better way for me to get the water in than by having a challenge that makes me have to drink at least a gallon of water every single day, right? So doing that right now in my wellness community, this month we're doing a better than nothing challenge. And I came up with a bingo board where there were just really simple tasks that anyone at any fitness level can do. And it's a mixture of fitness, nutrition, mindset, self-care. And it has been so, so joyful. I've challenged myself to do one thing a day. And so I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things out of 24 left. And you know, it's March 18th, so I have plenty of time to get that done before March is over. But I've just been really focusing on building that consistency instead of a lot of the things on this bingo board. I do like 8 or 9 of them every single day, like no joke. So instead of just immediately day one checking off like 9 things and then just like not doing anything for 2 weeks, I have challenged myself to do one thing, like check off one thing a day. So even though I drink over 50 ounces of water every single day, and even though I make a lot of our BODI recipes, and even though I eat tons of servings of veggies, and even though I wake up to my alarm the first time it goes off, like all of those things, I could have checked all of this off day one, but I chose not to. I chose to do one a day because I'm building the habit of consistency. I'm not trying to see how much I can get done in one day, right? From a viewpoint, again, I am the leader of my wellness community. And so when women look to me, they're looking to see, well, what does she do to see success? And how can I emulate that? Well, if I'm trying to do 10 things in one day and I check them all off and I post that into the group, isn't that really intimidating for someone who has joined this challenge under the assumption that we're just better than nothing. We're just focusing on one small task, getting one small thing done. You know, just do something instead of doing nothing. Like, wouldn't that be really intimidating to see the leader doing 10 things? And wouldn't that all automatically already put you in this overwhelmed state of like, why even bother then? Like, I'm not going to do 10 things today. I just wanted to do one, right? And so when I think of that from the viewpoint of a client of mine, I don't want to fill out 10 things and then overwhelm my client to the point they quit before they even start. I want to show them, hey, I did one thing today. Did you do one thing today? Hey, I did one thing the next day. Did you do one thing the next day? Like, little by little, like that was the whole point of this challenge. Now, I did not necessarily instruct that. I wanted women to take it however they wanted to do it, because maybe there's a day where somebody's like, hey, I feel good. I want to do 3 things today. Awesome. I don't want to deter anyone from doing that, but I don't want to overwhelm anyone by overdoing it. Plus, I know for me, I am way more inspired by somebody who shows up day after day after day after day than somebody who shows up one day, does a bunch of stuff, and then you don't see them for 3 weeks. It's so much more motivating to see somebody in it day after day, being consistent and showing you that they're achieving whatever results it is that they're achieving because they're showing up consistently and they're working on it little by little by little, right? So that's kind of the mindset that I've taken in with that. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. And I feel like that's been super helpful as far as my mindset goes when it comes to pregnancy, but just my goals in general this year, in 2024 in general. So, couple other things, YouTube, doing my best over here on YouTube. Now that I feel like I've, obviously for 5 months, I've been keeping this like huge secret, and it's almost like I just felt like I had to like hide. Like, it's like, I don't know. So now that I've like shared it with the world, I feel like, okay, we can get back to it. Like, we can talk about this because obviously this is a huge part of my life, a huge part of my life. You know, I know people have kids all the time, but I'm going from literally no kids to now having a child. So this is my second pregnancy, but my first one that has made it to this point, you know, and so it's like, I am planning for here in 4 months having a baby and what that's going to look like. You know, I don't have 1 or 2 kids already where I already kind of know what that looks like, and adding in a third is going to maybe be like this or whatever. Eventually, maybe I'll get there. But right now, this is going to be a drastic change in my life. And so it finally feels like, okay, now we could talk about it, because I just feel like I've been had to be so like close-lipped, and that was a personal choice my husband and I made, and I'm okay with that. But I definitely feel like it's kind of like held me back from sharing as openly as I normally would. Like, I'm a very open book, and I enjoy sharing vulnerably in that way. I feel like I connect with people so much more by being open in that way. And I like that. You know, I don't share everything. There are still things that I keep to myself, or my husband and I keep to ourselves. And I think that that's good for anybody, any marriage, anything. But I do still like to share openly about things, because it is paid off time and time again where I've connected with women where I know I would not have connected with them had I not shared so vulnerably, right? And so same goes here on, you know, on this platform on YouTube. Let's see, greeting my husband at the door every night. That's been something I've just thoroughly enjoyed, and I can tell he has too. Doing my daily Bible time like I shared, my embracing grace. We talked about that in my last video about how February was kind of a mess, but what more perfect topic could embracing imperfections be for this month after a very imperfect February, right? So also wanting to kind of like revert back to that, those 2 weeks that I got sick in February, large part of that was the fact that when you're pregnant, you can take like nothing. Like, you can literally take nothing. I am a Dayquil, Z-Quil kind of gal, or NyQuil, I guess. Z-Quil is the sleeping aid, but NyQuil, I'm a Dayquil and NyQuil gal. When I get sick, and it zaps it. Usually, like, I take that stuff until it is gone. I wasn't able to take that, and so I had to just like suffer through it. And so I want to just explain that that's why. And apparently, when you're pregnant, things hit you harder and you get sick worse. And so I didn't know that until I experienced it, and it definitely was the worst. So anyways, just kind of looking back on that, giving a little bit more explanation as to kind of like what happened during that time. I've been reading fiction. According to my Goodreads, I set a goal for, I think 52 or 45 or 52 books this year. Let's see. I don't want to tell you wrong, but I am let's see, 45 books. I have read 12 of my 45 book goal, and it says that I am 3 books ahead of schedule, which feels really, really good because I have been reading like crazy. Actually, I had this Kindle. I think I got this. I looked it up the other day. When did the first Kindle Fires come out? I'm pretty sure this is like one of the first generations of the Kindle Fire. I had this. I had done some decluttering about a year and a half ago, and I had found this in some of my stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of that. And I kept thinking in the back of my mind someday I would see if it would work. Finally tried it last week. It works like a charm. So I've been reading on my Kindle. I was reading on my iPad, but this is even smaller and more compact, and it can fit in my purse, whereas my iPad really wasn't fitting in my purse. And so I have had that. I think it's definitely heavier than the ones that they make today, but it's been really, really nice. So I've been reading a lot of books on my Kindle, which has been super fun. And it's just been a really, really nice thing. I've really taken time to, like, you're done with work at this time, go do something for you. And the thing for me that I've been doing has been reading fiction. I've been really into thrillers lately. I did read a few rom-coms, which I feel like I needed just like something different to like cleanse my palate after reading some thrillers. So I read a couple of rom-coms, but I'm ready to get back into the thrillers. I really want to start the Crescent City fantasy series, but I'm intimidated by it, and so I've been holding off. I've read A Court of Thorns and Roses series and the Throne of Glass series. Loved both. Throne of Glass even more than the A Court of Thorns and Roses, and so I know that I need to read this one. I just haven't yet, but that's definitely on my like TBR list. So been doing really good with that. I have not made any more progress with my blogging course, but now that this is out, I do feel, and I am planning for working towards that for the rest of March. So essentially the goals that I had kind of set for February, I'm kind of just pushing forward. It's almost time to make my new 12-week year, which will be fun to make now that this is out in the open, my news, all of the things, and to set goals accordingly. Let's see, I have struggled with being on time, and I even got really frustrated. I worked an auction this past weekend and I was late, and I was so upset with myself because I was doing so good on time, and then my GPS took me a longer route than what I thought, and whatever. I ended up being late, but it was fine. Let's see. I think that's about it as far as my goals go. So really, I am just feeling super, super good and thankful for the fact that I've still set goals, that I've still showed up, that I've push myself to continue to do things, not in a crazy way, not in a, oh my gosh, she's obsessed, so she has to keep showing up kind of a way, but in a, I know that I'm going to be really thankful for this. And so far, I can absolutely say 21 weeks into this pregnancy, I am so grateful that I've continued to show up for myself, because I can't imagine what those 21 weeks would have looked like had I stopped working out, had I just eaten whatever I wanted and not tried to fuel my body, had I not drank the water, had I not chosen to do the 75 hard challenge and get outside and get that fresh air, and how great that would be for my mindset. Because that's another thing through this whole experience is, you know, I'm still grieving the loss of that first pregnancy. And so that's made this pregnancy a lot more difficult and something that, you know, you just can't really prepare for. And grief is hard. Like, it comes in waves, it comes and goes. You know, before I made that post, that YouTube short yesterday, I just bawled. Like, I just lost it. And it was just like a wave of grief that hit me like a tidal wave, and I let it all out, and then I posted it, and I felt really good about posting and sharing. But, you know, it's just one of those things. So with all that being said, I just feel very excited moving forward. I feel very confident that my mission when it comes to health and wellness is keeping things simple. I want simple health. That is why I have been able to stick with our BODI platform and what it is that I do, and made a career out of it, is because it's simple. I can do it from home. I have someone telling me exactly what to do, how many days a week to do it. Sure, I can pick which program I want, but once I pick it, I just follow the leader. Like, I literally just do what somebody tells me to do. When it comes to meal plans, I keep them so incredibly simple. And that has been the key to continuing to help me fuel my body, right? And because of that, I'm just so passionate about keeping things simple, because I think when things get complicated and difficult, that's when people struggle to stick with it. That's when people struggle to actually continue to show up. They overcomplicate it. They remove entire food groups. They put so much pressure on themselves to be perfect At the moment that they're not, they quit. And I know for a fact I'm never going to be perfect. I am an imperfectly perfect child of God. He did not make me perfect. No one is perfect. And so knowing that and going into my journey in that way feels so, so good. And then the other part of my mission and how I want to live life moving forward is just slowing down. I want to enjoy the moments. And I know that I've shared that in some other videos, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but I felt like a rat on a wheel, like on the rat race, just going. And I had started to fall back into that at the beginning of this year, as I shared with you. And I think part of that came from me thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much I still haven't done. And now there's a baby on the way. How am I going to get all of this done? And so I think I had it in my mind, like, we need to hurry up, we need to hurry up, we need to hurry up. But what I've come to realize is I plan to continue to work on these things and do all of these things, even once the baby's here. So there's no rush to hurry up and get something done, because I love my work and I plan to continue to work and balance it all. But I want to slow down and enjoy life. I want to enjoy this pregnancy. I want to enjoy the work that I get to do, the YouTube videos that I get to make, the women that I get to help with health and wellness. I want to slow down and enjoy that and not feel this rush or set these standards that are just going to make me regret when I look back versus appreciate and be so thankful for this life of mine. So that's what I've got for you. So I hope that your month has gone so well. I would love to hear how your goals are going. I would love to hear you compliment yourself. I know that I kind of complimented myself a little bit here, and that's actually something I'm working on, is giving myself more praise for the things that I am doing versus beating myself up constantly for the things that I'm not. If you did the Thankful for 30 challenge with me back in November, where we did 30 videos in 30 days, I talked a lot about that, and I shared with you that I am someone who's very, very hard on myself a lot of the time. And so in order to lessen that, I have to compliment myself more. I have to praise myself more for the things that I am actually really proud of. And so I hope that you kind of got that sense in this video. I hope that you're feeling that way. And if you're not, I want you to look back over your goals that maybe you just went through and you're like, nope. And I want you to be like, no, I made progress on that. No, I made progress on that. I made progress on something that wasn't even on my goals. And I feel really proud of that. You know, I want you to praise yourself in the areas where you deserve that praise, instead of only focusing on the things that you didn't do or didn't get done or didn't make enough progress on. Because when we get stuck in that negative mindset, we don't want to do anything more. We just want to give up. We want to quit. And if you can praise yourself, you're way more likely to show up and to keep going, because you're going to be like, wow, look what I got done today. Wonder what I could get done tomorrow, right? That's that progress growth mindset. That's the way to be. And I'm here for that, and I want to share that with you, and I want you to feel that as well. So that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers. I didn't drink any of this, did I? Let's take a drink. So good. But I will see you in the next video. I'm just so glad to have finally shared that news with you, and can't wait to move forward and continue working towards our goals and living our lives and just keeping things simple and positive and happy and all the things. So we will see you in my next video. See ya.